All right. Well, let's dive in here. Ramon, really great to meet you and excited to hear a little bit more about what it is that you're working on and who it helps, why it matters. So if you want to take a couple minutes to just introduce yourself and then let's dive in.
Well, hey, Caleb, and hey to your audience. I'm a Mexican Spanish, you could say, founder for as well as a coach. In the past, you could say 9 years, I have been focusing as an executive coach, but I've been an entrepreneur for more than 15 years. And what I'm building in a way is a mix of three things. One is helping founders, in particular those who have already a company, let's say above 5 million euros in revenue and more than 20 employees. I help them to scale their companies. So there's this part of strategy, tactics, the business side of things. There's also a component of inner work. I go really deep in helping the founders to know themselves. What are their lights? What are their shadows? What are their talents? What makes them unique in a way? And the third part is mixing this in a way of being creative. I really value when founders and entrepreneurs really show themselves in the way that they can only do, right? So it gives a special quality. It's like creating a moat for the company. And as well, it brings alignment to who the founder is and what they are doing. Because I have faced in many times as an entrepreneur myself and with my clients that founders, entrepreneurs, they want three things. One is they want freedom, the freedom to choose, the freedom to do what they want. The second is they want to create something meaningful, no, that really creates an impact. It's not only about the money, but of course the money side is important because we all need to be giving returns to our investors and the company needs to generate revenue. But the third part is really important, is really showing their authenticity, who they are. So I would say that I am right now mostly focused on that, Caleb, and it's through getting people in touch and getting to know me, mostly awareness through social media, through my own podcast, and then leading them to a lead magnet that it's called the Founder Energy Reset. And then if they like it through an email nurturing sequence, they get to my high ticket offer, which is a 90-day program that I call the high frequency founder, where I integrate these three things. So you could say it's a premium executive coaching right now firm in a way. This is my first step. The second is I am building as well an online membership. Um, so for people who want to follow up and others that maybe they are not willing to pay for the premium high ticket offer, but I really want to impact the world. And this membership, as well as my newsletter and my podcast, is called Business is Art, because my philosophy, Caleb, is that founders and entrepreneurs are artists. If they do something that is meaningful while solving problems, while building a nice company, but also it should make them passionate, right? So that's a little bit of my madness.
Mhm. Can you share a little bit more about that transformation? It sounds like you have that 90-day window, to get to a high frequency. Can you share, maybe a little bit about what goes into that? That if someone was listening and they were interested in it, they would have an idea of what it is you offer.
Yeah, sure. I would say that this 90 days it's a journey, right? So I work a lot with this kind of metaphors like hero's journey. If you look at Star Wars, Matrix, all the films, it involves a journey, right? Where the hero, in this case, is not me, of course, it's the founder, it's the entrepreneur, and the founder wants to achieve something meaningful. But we start by looking deep and honestly about who the founder is. And I call this first stage, the soul blueprint. Soul, Soul. Why? Because my mantra, my claim for my company is scale your business without losing your soul. For me, soul, yes, it's again metaphoric, it's a little bit even mystical. But what does it mean? It means that when we're losing our soul, we're not paying attention to our body. to what our body needs: rest, food, exercise, right? There's pain sometimes. We get fat because of cortisol. So there's a body, a physical component of soul. There's an emotional component of soul. Maybe we are angry, we are frustrated, we are sad, we are depressed, right? So that's an energetic way of how we show up in the world. There's a mental part of the soul as well, which is how we think. Are we confused or are we clear, right? Do we know the path or not? Now, we were talking minutes ago, Caleb, that your focus mostly is with this, with technology, with AI. I think that AI is wonderful, but now we are flooded with knowledge. But knowledge isn't wisdom, right? We need to be ourselves in a personal journey of also of this mental health aspect of soul. And the fourth component of soul for me has to do with spirit in a way. It has to do with understanding that we are part of a larger system. No one is a self-made man or self-made woman. We are part of a system. Businesses are systems. We belong to something else as well as something inside of us. And we need to work with all that. So I start with the soul blueprint of the founder, then looking at, but I go really deep into also ancient wisdom. I use astrology, human design, gene keys, a lot of components that could be a little bit woo-woo for some people, but even my most rational clients have said, wow, this is deep, because I use it as conversation starters to see where the founder is. Then I move into the leadership part, how they behave in their leadership. I apply 360 assessments to see, okay, this is how you are. Let's see how you behave with your team, with your leadership team. And then I am moving towards rituals and how they behave throughout their day, how they take care of their energy. I also move into the vision of the company, if everything is aligned. At the last, when all these pieces are aligned and together, I move into the leadership team, which are the key people for the founders. I think something that my clients value, Caleb, is this. They don't want to be in the business. They want to be on the business. They want to have the vision. They want to have the proper person helping them or people helping them while they do what they truly want, where they get the energy, the joy, the passion. And all this needs to make sense for business-wise. So I would say that this is what I call high frequency. So if you see, I would say that the thing that where we lose a lot of our energy, of our frequency, when we are low, when we're sad, depressed, is because we don't know ourselves. Because when a founder starts a company, it's a startup, the founder is doing everything, right? But then eventually we cannot keep on doing everything for such a long time. And when the company, if we want the company to explode, to grow, to scale, we need to get out of the way. We need to build the systems. We need to build the team. And most of the founders need to change their identity. From builders, they need to be more architects, and eventually they need to be more artists.
So, if you had a CEO in front of you that was more skeptical, maybe they were more spreadsheet driven, how would you sort of present that alternative perspective? If you're going from a builder to an architect to an artist, how would you potentially help them to understand that when they're looking and saying, no, it's all about spreadsheets and numbers and the relationship between pure data and results and the input of what people are doing?
There's something that all leaders face, is that eventually we say something is wrong in the business, something external, right? I don't like my leadership team. I don't recognize them, or they are not doing what we say, or they are not. Usually there's something outside of us as leaders, as any CEO, and we don't like. So I start with that. Okay, what's on the way of yourself scaling your company 10 times or 100 times or as many times as you want? And then the second question comes mostly from one of my mentors and friends. He's an executive coach, Jerry Colonna. And he asked, how are you complicit to the conditions that you say you don't like? So
Hmm.
instead of just focusing externally, it's okay. And what does it have to do with you, with how you're behaving? Because at one stage, every CEO hired their key people, right? So, oh no, this person, he's he's unable to do this and that. Okay, and who hired this person? Or who hasn't given the mentorship for this person? So then I focus inside and then I go deep. So sometimes people that are working mostly on the spreadsheet, I think it's essential. We need to focus on, I think data is key because it gives us evidence, right? It's measurable. We can track things. We learn from data.
Hmm.
But data, again, is not wisdom. It's just knowledge. It shows us some things. And I value a lot how we need to do different things in order to get the results.
Hmm.
So, and that's part of that, but also it's how I'm showing up in my own way. Something that I value a lot is I'm not selling. I don't sell. People buy if they like it, if they resonate. And I think this is also why having a high ticket offer makes sense because I don't need many clients to make a good, really good living, you see. But I have a message that is not for everybody. People that are too driven, to focus on data, or hustlers, people that are hustling all day long. I don't think we should be hustling all day long. We
Hmm.
should enhancing and becoming a larger version of ourselves and doing the thing that needs to be done to get the results.
Hmm.
And that's how Bill Gates works. He hires the people that are like the laziest in a way, the ones doing the thing that matters, not
Hmm.
hustling all day long, you see?
So what I'm hearing is if there is a CEO, a founder, somebody leading a company, and they're either at a point where they feel stuck,
Yeah.
they either feel like they're stuck, they're not sure really, they've kind of tried all the things, all the levers, they've worked the spreadsheet in many directions. They're not necessarily sure how to move beyond that. That person, or perhaps someone who already is saying, hey, look, I'm open to and I want an alternative perspective on how to grow. These would be people that potentially would want to reach out with, get in touch with you, and they should get in touch with you and potentially ask about your 90-day
Yes.
program. Is that correct? And
If
then
I may just yeah, sorry, I'm interrupting you. Sorry, Caleb. Go on.
I was just going to say, mention if you want to send that signal out, like if you want to mention how they can get in touch with you, I think that that would be helpful.
Well, for me, I would say that my right now my let me just think something that I was going to say a second ago. Is this the clients that work for me? They are extremely intelligent. They are extremely brilliant. They are hardworking. But at one stage in their journey, we stop finding answers outside, reading the books, going to the mastermind, right? And we need to focus within. We need to focus in our inner work. And I would say that for me, the starting point is downloading my lead magnet, my freebie, that it's the founder energy reset, where honestly, I have five practices that they are for free. They allow the founders to follow some practice that I built up in a way that they start clearing their mind, building their energy, and going in the right direction. They don't need to hire me to start with. But I
Hmm.
would say that people need to focus on the experience of doing
Hmm.
something by themselves. But yeah,
Okay. Well, this has been, I feel like you've sent a very clear signal in terms of where you're positioned in it and how you can help. So can you, like, where can people follow along? What would you suggest? Are you posting stuff on Instagram, LinkedIn? Where is the best place for people to come into your orbit and get to experience more?
for me, I would say the easiest way is connecting with me through LinkedIn. It's Ramon Estrada T and Instagram at Ramon Estrada T. That's a really easy entry point, as well as through my podcast is Business is Art. You can find it on Spotify, on Apple Podcast. This is a way to start getting some experience about my way of thinking, my way of explaining things. I have heard capability of explaining really complex ways, things
Hmm.
in in an easy way, and inviting people to reflect on different directions and then finding the next move to move forward.
Okay. Well, Ramon, really appreciate it. Business is Art podcast on the major platforms, and Ramon Estrada on LinkedIn and on Instagram. Thank you so much. The 90-day program, Lead Magnet, what a great opportunity for people to for that energy reset. So, all right.
Okay, done, right?